All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. This is our GMC Tweet of the Night. Pirates' #1 pick, Connor Griffith, senior year. And you can look at these 43 games. You can see the average, the OPS, outrageous, 9 home runs, 39 RBI. Also, the Gatorade Player of the Year recipient in 24, LSU commit. The size, 6'4", 210. Not a bad size for a shortstop. The Pirates shortstop right now is just a little bit taller. But 18 years old, so hopefully we see him. You know, what would be the projection for someone like him? 4 years to be up here, 22? It seems about right. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. In today's age where it seems like everything goes faster, I don't expect him to be in the All-Star game next year. Probably to take a little time to develop through the system, but yeah, he's got some serious tools. And you know, you're always happy after a draft.
Yeah.
But I think they found, I mean, they drafted a couple of shortstops that they can move wherever, and they drafted a pitcher. I mean, it looks good on paper. We'll kind of see how it plays out. But yeah, I don't expect any of these three guys that you would see them at PNC Park until 2027, probably.
So you were just on that Zoom call. I was out here. Did they say anything about, you know, you draft 2 shortstops, but I guess they're position flexible. When you draft when you have a kid playing shortstop in high school, he can play pretty much, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 different positions when you get to the majors. Center field, like you said, with maybe, you know, with Griffin, but Wyatt Sanford, where can he play? Does he project as an infielder too?
So we haven't talked to Ben Cherington yet. We've only talked to Connor Griffin. So I don't know exactly what they've gone from that standpoint. But I will say that Griffin said, I mean, he even said this, like, hey, the fact that they're picking high school kids tells him that they're ready to win now and that they're just kind of, you know, bringing up guys that can take their time to go through the system because they feel like they have, you know, what they need right now. That's the first-round pick talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what he said about that. We're going to talk to Cherington in a little bit.
All right, let's go out to John in Lower Borough. How you doing, John?
Doing well. I have an idea I want to bounce off you guys and see if you think it has merit. Bob Nutting does not own PNC Park. He leases it from the Stadium Authority. I think the Stadium Authority should put a condition in the lease that he must spend a certain amount of money for the payroll, perhaps the average of what the payroll is in the National League. If he refuses, which he probably would do, I would raise the rent so he can't afford it. Then he might say, well, I'll move the team. And I would say, if I'm the Stadium Authority, please do. We'll have a new team and a better manager that's willing to spend, better owner that's willing to spend some money, and we'll have that in no time at all.
Yeah, John, I'm not a big fan of that idea. I don't even know if it's possible, but you don't want the Pirates moving from Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh might never get a Major League Baseball team again if the Pirates left, just because you could see what, you know, the attendance at some points when you're not putting money into the team. Look, this is a winning town. They want to see winners. They don't want to see teams that don't compete. And finally, you're getting close to seeing winning baseball again here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I get his idea. That there's no way that would ever happen. And if you think that baseball would just return here, you know, ask Quebec about when the NHL. Yeah, obviously the NHL is going to immediately return to Quebec. So
you would think so. I mean, baseball needs to fix itself. Major League Baseball needs to institute some kind of salary floor. That would be a good start for teams being competitive like the Pirates. And then you could use the luxury tax at least as some kind of cap. There needs some kind of cap. I mean, every other league is successful doing a cap system. Major League Baseball needs to get there at some point. Let's go out to Nolan up in Upper St. Clair. How you doing, Nolan?
How you guys doing? Who do you guys think the big piece the Pirates could add at the deadline? They seem to do well every year at the All-Star break. They're 500. Then they just falter after the All-Star break. Look at 2019. They went 4-24 in 28 games. So who do you guys think the biggest bat they could add at the deadline could be?
I'd like to see them get Robert. You know, we talked about Ward on the #1 Conference Sports Showdown coming up tonight. One of those guys, you have control. It's a bat. It fills a need out in the field. I mean, you need a center fielder, right? You need an outfielder.
Right.
Robert sounds good. I don't know. Look, They need to win now, like you said. Give up one of those pitching prospects.
Richie, I'll say this. I mean, Robert is a very enticing player. He put up some crazy numbers last year. Injuries have been a concern with him. So you got to know that going in. I mean, it's very enticing, but you got to do your medical homework with Robert. Ward is, I think, very interesting as well because they both have a couple of years of control. That's the type of player I'm willing to give up a really good pitching prospect for. Because you don't have that in your system. That's something you need, and you're not doing it for a couple of month rental with someone who probably would no chance that he would re-sign with you, like a Pete Alonso, like for people that discuss that. Although the Mets are in the third wild card spot, so why would they give up him? But that type of example, I just think if you're going to make that move, and I'm for selling those minor league players. You don't need to hold on to every one of them. But just do it for somebody that has a little bit of control.
Are you in for selling it now? Because I am. I think they're close. Maybe they're not a World Series type team this year. They'll be much closer next year. But I'm in for trying to make a run.
I'm in for making a trade for a player like the two we mentioned because of the obvious need. And then I'm really in for this offseason spending a lot of money. Like making it a priority. I mean, just like we were saying with the Pirates' first-round pick, how excited he was to be in the same organization as Paul Skeens. I think having Skeens might buy you a little bit more interest from free agents. So close the door if you have to pay a little more. But, you know, here's your pitch. You can join Skeens and make the Pirates winners. You see the crowds. You see what it would be like. You would be a hero in Pittsburgh. I think they have a selling point in the offseason, so go do it. You're going to be competing against a lot of teams at the trade deadline. The chances the Pirates make a splash at the trade deadline are small, but you can in free agency, and it wouldn't cost you any one of those coveted prospects.
Obviously, Connor Griffin did not watch any Pirates games last year because there wasn't too many electric nights over there with Roansy Contreras on the mound or whoever was pitching for the Buccos. Let's go out to Joe in Mount Lebo. How you doing, Joe?
Okay. Hey, I'm a little concerned about that first pick, Connor Griffin. And it looks to me like he has some holes in his swing. Not only that, the MLB Network, when the first words out of their mouth when he was drafted was the Pirates are going to have to fix his swing. So,
well,
I mean, to take a kid in the first round.
Yeah, Joe, I get what you're saying, you know, but the kid's 18. He's ranked as the top high school kid by a lot of different publications. He was number 9 by MLB Pipeline. It seemed like the Pirates scouting staff, when they showed video of him, were super elated by getting a chance to get him. I mean, I take a chance on him. Like, he's a 5-tool player, and we're not going to know anything about him. He's a high school kid. Who knows if he's even going to pan out and if he's ever going to put on a Pirates uniform.
And Richie, the caller brings up a good point about there is a little bit of length to his swing. I think that's from what I was reading, and I've been trying to read up a lot about him in the short amount of time. That is more about him kind of growing into his body. You know, now being 6'4", he's trying to, you know, kind of relearn his swing because he's growing. But they love the talent. They think they'll be able to fix that. And they basically pick someone with a ton of talent that's had a lot of success with great speed, a lot of attributes, and they feel like they can fix that swing.
Yeah, I like that. Take a gamble on him. I like the move. I like the pick. Jim Peters, what's up, Jim?
For one thing, you guys are assuming they're going to lose the rest of the games this month. Why don't you wait to see what they do with Philadelphia? I mean, Ranger Sanchez is out. I was talking about.
Wait, why are we assuming they're going to lose? I never assumed.
Because okay, here's why. Let's say they sweep the Phillies. They're losing Sanchez. Okay, I talked to a friend of mine. He's out for a while. Their best pitcher, Ranger Sanchez. Skeens will pitch Sunday. Probably Keller will pitch Saturday. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to do it, but if they take 3 for Phillies, and then all of a sudden they start winning, you're going to trade it to deadline?
Wait, I'm talking about them being buyers,
We're not talking
Jim.
about selling.
We're not talking about selling.
I would wait to see.
Wait to see what? You only want to make your team better.
Today's the 14th.
Yeah, they have 16 days.
It's 17. There's 31 in the
Okay.
month.
All right, well, whatever. Great. I don't know if he understood what we were saying. I want them to trade to get better. I want them to trade prospects. I mean, because you can get better in center field, no question about it. Microwave Taylor, Jack Sawinski, they don't do it for me. You can get better in right field. You can get better at first base. Maybe people bought into the Rowdy Tellez last 70 days, but I haven't. You can get better at catcher. There's multiple positions where you can upgrade. Middle reliever.
Yeah, Richie, you said it well. His premise was a little flawed in the fact that we were saying they were going to lose all the games, and yet we were saying they were going to buy. So I don't understand. Listen, we're talking about them improving their team and improving their team not only for this year but for multiple years. I think that's the point we're looking for this Pirates team to do. But again, it's going to be hard because there's 6 teams, maybe only 5, that will fully admit that they don't have a chance to get into the postseason.
Yeah, that's the most difficult situation. That's the most difficult thing the Pirates are facing right now, because I think teams might be reluctant to trade because they still think they're in it, just like the Pirates. I don't think the Pirates are going to be sellers. They're going to be buyers. I don't know where he was coming from, but I want them to get better. I think they can compete this year. They're not going to sweep the Phillies, but I think they can compete.
And I don't want them to go quickly, pick a mid player when they could have waited till the end of July and maybe gotten something better.
All right, we got to take a break. Back in a couple of minutes. Stay right there.